Hey guys, it's Tony. Welcome back to the channel. Hope this is not too long of a video, but I want to do a kind of an off-the-cuff video. A lot of the videos I do that you watch, and thank you for all those who've watched, liked, and subscribed, usually I buy cards and research them. Talk about a set, a player, a series, a type of card. They're researched before I go on camera because I like to be very accurate and words don't come as easy off the cuff to me as maybe they do to some other folks. So I like having kind of a script to talk about the cards I've researched and what I like about them. This is going to be a video more just me off the cuff talking about what I'm having fun doing in the hobby. And I had a great hobby weekend last weekend. I've been struggling for a while with how do I store my cards? I'm not going to get them graded. I've actually bought very few graded cards the last 9 months. I bought a lot early on coming back into vintage after watching a lot of YouTube channels, but I like my cards. I can pick them up, touch them, smell them, honestly, feel them, and keeping them in binders is what I want to be doing going forward. So how do I store cards that are larger than the traditional Topps card size, smaller in some cases, really big? How do I display them? How do I store them and protect them? So since grading's off the table and I don't want to buy expensive, larger kind of plastic slabs I can do myself, binders is what I kind of fell back to. And I got a few final binder supplies in the mail last weekend. I spent a couple hours putting my cards in binders. It was so fun to take the card. They've been stacking up on my shelf, on my table, in my office, my card room. Mail days, I'd open them up, look at the cards, love them, put them on the stack, put them on a table. They had nowhere to go. But I wanted to put them in a binder. So I finally got a bunch of supplies for that. So let me show you what I got. These are not earth-shattering things. I've got a, let's see here. Sorry about this. I've got the traditional 9 pocket pages, of course. These are just Ultra Pro pages. Love these. You can see them really clear through those cards clear through those. I've got some 8 pocket pages. These are for bigger 50s Topps, 50s Bowman, cards that are a bit bigger than 57 Topps when they became the more standard size. Those are a lifesaver for me and what I'm doing right now. So love putting cards in both those this past weekend. Also, I bought these from Ultra Pro as well. These are, I'll show you the box, I guess. These are 4 pocket pages for top loaders. And I think top loader is the most protection I want to give and invest in a card for. That's $20 or less. Top loader is all it needs. Doesn't need to be graded. I don't need to entomb it in a way that a $20 card or less can go in one of these in a top loader. I'm perfectly fine with that. So I bought a bunch of these, 100 pages here. These I put a bunch in this past weekend. I'll show them in a future video. But man, it was so fun just taking the cards, putting them in here, organizing them, and then flipping through the binder and seeing them all page by page, one after another. It was so satisfying to get these things finally in binder. So that's what I'm using. Had a fun weekend doing that. Got more to come, more to put in here, but want to show those things off too. But one other thing I bought from a company called Humongous Hoard, and I think I saw a few videos talking about this, and I think the most recent one may have been Jay, my friend Jay over at Average Vintage Collector, bought from them. And I bought 2 25 counts of these 4x6 photo top loaders for exhibit cards, some oversized pre-war I have. They fit perfectly, so these are great. And then I found a few cards that just a little bit outside, just a little bit too big for these. I got to maybe look for some 5x7s or whatever the next level up is to get more of these. But these are great. They're clear. They're sturdy. The cards are protected. I love it. Had fun seeing what can I put in these things and how can I store them and prop them up in my card room. So recommend those as well. From the same company, I also got, sorry about the tearing of the plastic. It's kind of messy here, but actually I'll just do it this way here. These are 11x14 top loaders for big photos from the same company. So I've got some, I think they're baseball magazine premiums from the 30s and 40s I showed many months ago out of big magazines. And those are big pages and I couldn't fit them anywhere else besides what I was doing was not good for the item. So put the 4 or 5 I have in these things. They're nice 11x14s. They prop up easily. They sit on my shelf. They look great in these things. So really enjoyed seeing those and putting some cards away. Just the act of putting cards away was just had a fun time doing it. So that was a fun weekend. Speaking of Jay, I've also got a care package from him a couple days ago. So thank you, Jay. Check out his channel, Jay Average Vintage Collector. He gave me some Cubs cards and ones I didn't have. I wasn't collecting anything really, football or baseball in the 2010s and 2020s. I had a brief stint in 2018 where I bought a bunch of like football and baseball because I was getting into it with a friend of mine who was into more modern. Thought maybe that's kind of my next outlet to do. And it lasted a year, and the prices and what I was getting just didn't excite me like the stuff I'm into right now. So long story short, none of these cards I had. Thank you, Jay. Such a nice gift. I'll show them off right here. But 84 Topps Mel Hall. I love this because I love the set and the design anyway. But then the back of the card, the color is the back is a color match for the Cubs, so I like that too. But Jay gave me a bunch of stuff I didn't have, and some of these guys were from the Cubs 2016 World Series team. So maybe I start a binder of that. I think Jeff over at Fine Card Collector is doing a 2016 Cubs collection set. Not sure, something like that of those players. So I'll show them really quick here. These are some more modern of the 2020. No, these are 2023s. Yeah, more modern cards. I go like from newest to oldest. I put all these in year order because that's just the way my brain thinks. So just, really cool cards of players I watched, but never actually bought their cards, never opened a pack of these things. I was doing other stuff with kids or just kind of doing other stuff in the hobby. I think I was collecting more vintage football sets during these years. Enjoy building those things off of eBay and other Facebook pickups. So these are some, I think 2014s or 2013s here. Anthony Rizzo, I remember watching him. Got a few more here. Thank you again, Jay, for these. These are perfect. Some nice and shiny. I think these are 2012 or so. One just dropped, so I'm not going to pick that up on camera. There you go. And this guy I watched. I remember his home run chase with Mark McGwire in 1998, watching him on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball in my dorm room when they were going back and forth seemingly every single day. They hit one more home run to one up the other guy. So Sammy Sosa was one of my guys back in the 90s, watching him play in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. So thank you, Jay, for that. That was too nice. They came in perfect. Thanks for the packaging. Appreciate you doing that. A few more things I want to talk about. And again, this is not a scripted video. It's more just kind of an off the cuff what I'm thinking about. Today is October 31st. And I got a few more videos coming up next week on my 71 Topps baseball action pose series. And also a cool mail day should be coming in. I want to do a live opening of that on the camera. So, but two more cards I picked up that I'll show in future videos, but kind of show where I'm going and how I'm collecting what excites me in the hobby right now. This is a 1962 Topps Elio Chacon. So it's a 62 Topps, which I like. I do like the wood grain borders. They're pretty cool. But this is a Topps Venezuelan version of this card. It's a common card, quote unquote, right, in the US Topps version. But Topps Venezuelan can be a little bit more expensive, obviously. But why do I like this card? Well, it's Topps Venezuelan, which is great. I took 3 years of Spanish, but you can always brush up on your Spanish by reading the back of these cards, which is pretty cool and easy to ID that these are Topps Venezuelan issues. I'll have to see how this translates. Does it translate to the same exact wording as the Topps issue? I'm not sure. I'm assuming it does, but again, a cool project for that. This guy was also born in Venezuela. So I've done the research on what players were born in Venezuela that actually have Topps Venezuelan cards. Luis Aparicio is probably the most well-known in terms of star players, but a few other guys would have been playing in the 50s and 60s who were born in Venezuela. So I think that's a cool layer for this card too. But the next layer, and this may be common knowledge and probably is to all the guys who've been collecting vintage baseball for longer than I have, who is number 20? Who's number 20 there in the background? I'm sure it's Frank Robinson, number 20 for the Reds. So to have a Hall of Famer with his back turned in the background is kind of cool as well. So this card has layers for me. The Spanish back, the Venezuelan issue, Frank Robinson in the background, I believe, of the card. If I'm wrong, please let me know, but I think that's him. And then it's a non-US issue. And the guy was born in the country of Venezuela. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, if a child or an adult got this card in 1962, Would they have cared for this card more, better? Would they have liked this card if they knew the guy was from Venezuela? Would they have, what would that have done? I'm curious, 63 some years later. So this card was cool because it has all these layers to it and a great add to my collection. Another card of a not Hall of Famer, but a very good player is this one here. This was probably less than $5. 1962 Post Maury Wills. So there's a whole background to this. Not others probably know it better than I do. There's websites with articles dedicated to this. But Maury Wills came out, I think he began playing in like 58, 59, late in the 50s, but didn't have a Topps card until 1967, I think it was, with the Pirates, maybe 66. He has a 63 Fleer card, and then he has a Turn Back the Clock card in, I think it was 87 Topps, that shows a fictitious 1962 Topps Maury Wills card. I'm guessing it was a contract dispute or something between him and Topps that led to him not having a rookie card near his rookie season. But for Post Serial, he has a 1962 Topps. And so I think it's cool seeing him in a Dodger hat earlier than Topps gave him a card, earlier than Fleer did, and to have his stats on the front, right? Not a Hall of Famer. I don't believe he is. But again, a great guy during the golden era of baseball, and to get a card of his for less than $5, pretty well cut. There's not a lot of crazy cutting out on this card. Was a cool ad as well. And there's a story behind, again, why this card exists and why the Topps cards don't exist for many years. So there's interesting stuff on that, and that just goes to show just some of the things I'm excited about. You know, finding cards with stories, and certainly my 71 Topps Action Pose series, those cards all have stories. The players have stories. The series I'm doing now, I'm early innings on in terms of the first black player for each pre-expansion MLB team. I'm showing off cards and telling stories of those players too. Each person has a story. The card itself may have a story because of where it was issued, the language on the back, like with my Venezuelan cards, who's in the background or foreground is interesting. There's a few of those guys on 71 Topps Action Poses. Nolan Ryan's making a cameo appearance with his back turned. I think on the Bud Harrelson card, 71 Topps Bud Harrelson. And then I believe Pete Rose is leading off at third base on the 71 Topps Chris Short card I showed earlier too. So that's what gets me excited. I mean, recently at least, putting cards away in binders is cool to kind of see them, flip through, see the fronts, see the backs, all in one space, whether it's all Cubs in a binder, Hall of Famers, or something else. Gives me flexibility to kind of move those things around, see them in a binder, not have them just be by themselves because they're maybe too big to be displayed. Now I know there's binder pages, I think, for slab cards. I haven't quite gone there yet because I do have slab cards. I'm just not actively investing in buying more or buying or grading myself. Now, if a card I want to buy, and I do have lots of card show cards that are expensive, that are probably above $500, I'll buy it already graded. I'm not anti-buying them graded. I don't want to spend my money to get them graded right now. And a lot of the cards I buy, the majority of what I buy, these cards are $20 and under. But they all have really cool stories that are worth way more to me than $20. And so for me, you know, these binder pages are perfect. Open the binder up whenever I want to, flip through the cards, see the front, see the back. And just had a really, really fun weekend last weekend putting cards in binders. It kind of brought me back to when I was 10 years old and completing football sets. And I needed that one or two last cards. I opened the pack up, got the 2 cards, rushed to my bedroom, put the cards in the slot that was missing a card, and then had a complete set in a binder. It was a cool feeling of what originally excited me and still excites me about collecting cards. And I just had put off buying the right supplies for too long. And now I've got, again, 4-pocket, 8-pocket, 9-pocket, big top loaders, normal top loaders. I feel like I have a lot of what I need to kind of start laying the card collection out in a way that makes sense for me. So the card room is looking cleaner. There's less stacks, less cards randomly sitting around after mail days. So really happy about that. So again, that's my kind of little off-the-cuff video. Again, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and are 18 years or older. to be part of my 1 year giveaway, 1 year on YouTube giveaway. The 4 cards I'm giving away, or maybe 5 cards, are in my first video. I'll link to it below in the description. They're all Hall of Famers. They're graded cards. They're really solid mid-grade cards. Look forward to seeing who wins them, who gives them away, or I give them away, I guess, but who gets them and how the giveaway is going to work. I'll do that the week of Thanksgiving. Again, thanks for all the support, the comments, the likes. Hopefully you enjoy this little mini discussion I had here on October 31st. Have a great weekend. I'll come back to you soon with another video next week. See you guys. Take care.